Christianity, Judaism, and Islam all have one thing in common, and it's not the monotheism, and it's not the belief in one God. It's the fact that every single one of these religions prohibits interest in some way, shape, or form. Assalamu alaikum everyone, Jesse here with Canadian Islamic Wealth. I hope you guys are all having a great day. I came across a really interesting fact that Christianity, Judaism, and Islam, every single one of them prohibits interest in some way, shape, or form. And I'm going to be getting into those details right away. But before I do, make sure you hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button so that you can come back for more videos. It's free. It's free, and it doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. So I'm just going to wait here. So, as I mentioned, every single one of them prohibits interest, but it seems to me that the only ones who are following this rule are the Muslims. So let's look at every single text and see what it has to say about interest. So, in chapter 22, verse 25 of Exodus in the Bible, it says, "If you lend money to any of the people with who is poor, you shall not be like a money lender to him, and you shall not exact interest from him." So there are plenty of other examples within the Bible in the Old Testament that say that interest isn't allowed. And I believe in the Torah and the Jewish faith as well, that also holds up. Now, I've spoken to a few rabbis over the last couple of years, just asking them about this sort of issue. And what they have said is that within the Jewish context, what they mean is that you can't charge interest to other Jewish people, but you can charge interest to people outside of the Jewish faith. I don't know whether or not this is true, but as you can see, based on that, there is some level of prohibition dealing in interest. Now, the Christian tradition, from what I understand, also prohibited interest for the longest period of time. Basically, while the Catholic Church was in charge, they prohibited interest right up until around the time of the Renaissance.
The point that we have is Pope Usury, one of the popes of Usury, about around the 14th century. He was one of the most vocal people who disagreed with usurage, etc., etc. It was him being blackmailed by the Archduchy of Austria before they were the Holy Roman Empire, and the Venetian bankers, that they would take the whole of Rome, that they would cross effectively the equivalent of the Christianical Rubicon and appoint their own popes if he didn't back down from the banking. These are records that are quietly held still in the Vatican to this day. So it was around 1450 to 1460 that they stopped preaching about usage.
So we can see that within the history of both of these Abrahamic faiths, there is a prohibition of interest. Now, what does the Quran have to say about it as well? "Those who consume interest will stand on Judgment Day like those driven to madness by Satan's touch. That is because they say trade is no different than interest, but Allah has permitted trade and forbidden interest. Whoever refrains after having received warning from their Lord may keep their previous gains, and their case is left to Allah. As for those who persist, it is they who will be residents of the fire. They will be there forever." So look at this, brothers and sisters. Look at how within Christianity, within Judaism, and within Islam, there are some commonalities in the financial sense. We can see that in the Bible it says in many situations that interest is forbidden. Based on some of the conversations I've had with Jewish people and rabbis, they also say that interest is not allowed charging within their own community. So we can see that within all of these faiths, there is a level of harm that interest causes. There is a level of harm that God has placed in every single one of these books, showing that we shouldn't be dealing in interest. So I want to know what you guys think. Do you think that interest is forbidden in Judaism? Do you think interest is forbidden in Christianity and they're just choosing to ignore this? Or do you think this is something that I'm not fully informed on and not understanding? I want to know what you guys think. But overall, from what I can see, everybody should be avoiding interest from each one of these Abrahamic faiths, and it's something that we all have in common. So I want to know what you guys think. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.